couple of its nicknames are Land of the Sky and Paris of the South, but it is also known for its well-preserved 1920s architecture and as a location for the largest house in America. We'll discover why so many artists and creatives are drawn to this mountain resort town on this episode of Ms. World Traveler in Asheville, North Carolina. Named after 1795 Governor Samuel Ashe, Asheville was struck by Hurricane Helene in September of 2024 and suffered unimaginable damage. And while recovery is still in process, the resilience of her people is inspiring. We're going to meet some of them, but before we do, let's have a quick look around the downtown. With many buildings of historical significance in the downtown, one in particular stands out. Completed in 1929, 2 years after the death of pioneering Asheville developer Edwin Wiley Grove, the visionary behind the project, the Grove Arcade was originally conceived as the most elegant building in America and was ahead of its time as a retail and office center with a long list of notable tenants for 13 years. It closed during World War II, but fast forward to 1997 when a 198-year lease was signed, and finally, in 2002, the arcade reopened as an essential downtown resource, fulfilling its original purpose as envisioned by E.W. Grove nearly 100 years ago. Speaking of elegant buildings, we didn't have time this trip to tour the outstanding 250,000 square foot Biltmore estate, but I have done it before, and I highly recommend taking a full day to fully appreciate all the details and amenities. But for now, let's see where the entire army of craftsmen who worked on the Biltmore during its construction lived from 1895 to 1900. Not far from downtown, Biltmore Village is an early example of a planned mixed-use community where residents could live and work and have all the necessities close by. As the neighborhood erected for tradesmen, laborers, staff, and families of the Biltmore estate, the style is medieval and Tudoresque, with half-timber walls, pitched roofs, dormers, red brick, and multiple gables. The showpiece of Biltmore Village was actually constructed in 2009 and built to look old. The Grand Bohemian Lodge is a hodgepodge of styles inside, but that is part of the fun. Mounted deer heads above plush velvet sofas? Check. Hand-carved black bear sculptures? Check. Crystal antler chandeliers, grandfather clocks, ornate heavy wood doors, a gallery of fine art? Check. It's a bit eccentric, but charming all the same. And it is in this picturesque area that Naomi Duncan recently opened Village Artist Market. So I'm here with Naomi Duncan, who just recently became an Ashevilleite. Is that how you say it? Ashevillean?
Yeah.
But maybe at a not so good time.
Yes, that's true. I left everything that was familiar to me behind in the Atlanta area to move to Asheville about a month before the hurricane. Yes, and welcome to Asheville.
Right.
So my background's in mental health. I was a licensed counselor for 30 years. And I was very burned out and wanted to have a whole new career.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was under contract to purchase the inventory of a small shop that was in this beautiful historic building.
Mm-hmm.
and we were set to close on the Monday after the storm.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was kind of hit after hit, but from that, my heart was breaking for the artists and what they were going through. And I just put it out there wherever I could. Are there artists who are interested in rebuilding together and supporting each other as you rebuild from your losses? And that was probably 10, 11 months ago. And I started meeting one by one with individual artists. And now we have over 40. And they're wonderful people. And they're all local. Only local artists are allowed at Village Artist Market.
Yes. Well, Village Artist Market, you're right here in Biltmore Village.
Yes.
So what was it sort of on purpose that you wanted this particular space?
I think the universe, something, this place was sent to me. I have no idea how I was blessed enough to land in this spot, but the owner of this building and I became quickly very close friends, and he started introducing me to all of the people in Biltmore Village, and I just wanted to keep fighting to be here. And ultimately, I'm really grateful that it happened the way it did, because my soul would not be fed with a gift shop. Right. Now I have this built-in family of artists that were chosen based on their hearts and their souls and who they are as people. But their work is spectacular.
Well, and you were saying that you personally are not an artist, but that you have an eye for how to help them really set up their displays and market. And you've created such a warm, welcoming environment. I felt it the moment I walked in.
Thank you so much.
So is this something that you come by naturally?
Apparently so. I did not know that. I have rented space as a hobby when I was doing counseling in a multi-vendor like antique store, and I would like to go and find beautiful things in estate sales and just arrange them how I like them. And that was sort of my therapy. And so I guess that is the creative piece of me, and it was really important to me in this model that it was cohesive, that the spaces, although each artist has their own little spot, the spots blend well together.
Yes.
I wanted it to feel very warm and welcoming. I've had people say, this is a gallery, not a market. And I say, I don't want it to feel like a gallery. I want it to feel very accessible and touchable. I want people to come in and love being in here and feel comfortable in here.
Yes.
And we have everything from $15 items to $4,000 items, and that is what I wanted. And I wanted people who had never shown their work before, and people who have been showing their work around Asheville for years, so that they can kind of mentor and support one another.
Yes.
And so it's just, I feel every time I come in here, I'm amazed that I get to be around these artists.
Yes. Well, one of the things I'm going to do while I'm here is talk to one of your artists. So I'm looking forward to meeting her.
She is the most unique artist I have met in Asheville, and she is just spectacularly creative and giving and loving and all of the things. So you're going to get a treat with her.
As Naomi mentioned, it has been her great honor to meet and represent so many talented artisans, one of whom is multimedia artist Eileen Voss. So Eileen, when I first walked up and I saw in the window these very interesting pages, the pages out of old books that you have made into incredible artwork. And I thought, I need to meet the lady who does this.
Thank you. Yeah, it was about 20 years ago. I came across a lady named Malena Valcarcel, and she's from Spain. And she made these adorable, teeny tiny little book sculptures out of pages. And she had usually one solitary LED light that had illuminated a certain aspect of that sculpture. And when I saw that, it was about 20 years ago, I'm like, oh, well, I can add more to those and make them bigger and go into different directions. So that's what I did. I come from an electrical family household, so I'm obsessed with special effects and lighting. And I ended up playing around with a bunch of different things. There's an owl in the branch that's featured in the front room. That was one of my first pieces. It was almost 20 years old. And a lot of the times I'll get asked, well, do the pages yellow? Do they deteriorate? The one that's 20 years old looks almost the same as the day that I made it.
Really?
So
do you coat them or anything to keep it from?
Normally I do not.
Okay.
If there's a concern with that and a client requests it, I will very lightly mist it with a UV spray. But oftentimes the translucency of the pages with the material that's being sprayed can alter the state of the pages and make them, you can transparent. You can read double layers of words, and that complicates the overall image.
Right.
So I usually don't. I just ask them not to keep them in their bathroom, in the shower.
Right.
You know, keep them away from extra moisture and humidity. Keep that out of the mix, and you'll be just fine.
So you have this one that is so fairy-like and delicate, and then you have this one that just seems so much more substantial.
Right. For the bigger sculptures that I do, I've done everything from little ones to very big. I mentioned you did see the life-size dragon at Grove Park Gallery of the Mountains. There's a 7.5 foot tall book sculpture dragon with flame simulation eyes that I installed inside with my fiance Joe. And yes,
is that for sale, or is that just we want a fabulous piece to bring people into the gallery?
She is for adoption.
Okay, adoption.
She's up for adoption. Yes, she's traveled the country a little bit. She's won awards for first place, which is really heartwarming and very humbling for me. But yes, she is up for adoption. And but for the bigger structures, I'll start with metal. Foil is one of my favorite materials to work with because of the flexibility of it. And then I have a plastic material that I use. It's a thermoplastic that I have to heat on the stove, and I coat all of my foil with the plastics. So this is kind of funny when people ask, how fragile are they?
Oh my goodness.
Not very fragile at all. Not very fragile at all, because they have the substantial grass between it under the pages that you don't see the structure is there. And that's part of why I did that. It's a sculpture, but I want them to last. I don't want it to be something that people are fearful of obtaining and holding on to, and that they can pass down through their family as needed. So,
but pages of books are not the only things that you use. I mean, this is a great example. These are actual leaves?
They are a mold. So I do a lot of my own mold making, and I took fall leaves from the local mountains, and I made my custom molds of those leaves, and then I translate them one at a time, which is painstaking, with polymer clay. Polymer clay I've been sculpting with since I was 4. Okay. So I've got well over 30 some years. Plenty of experience doing the polymer clay. That's my favorite medium, honestly, because it's so versatile, it's forgiving. And whatever I do with polymer clay can also translate into other things. I was in the wedding industry for 15 years in New York, and I did a lot of custom sculptured chocolates. So to the degree you wouldn't know that they're edible, but it's because I started with my clay first, then I make my own molds, and then I can cast chocolate in there and finish it up with powders and details. Wow. So that's where that comes from. And then each one is hand painted front and back and assembled. And I have a secret with this one.
Oh, I love to know a secret.
Yeah, I like hiding little secrets. One of the leaves gets removed, and I like to hide little hidden messages for the people that purchase them and adopt them.
Oh, that's so nice.
So there's some fun hidden things in some of my artwork that I'm making sure that I do from here on out.
Well, as if you weren't impressive enough, you also have a little cat bat. Well, and then we go from our cat bat to this delicate little teacup with thistles and a castle and flowers and moths. It's so cute. So what's the impetus behind this?
Yeah, so I love the Victorian era. The 1800s is one of my favorites. Yes. I love the Sherlock Holmes, the darker stuff too, but I wanted something a little more whimsical and upbeat to share with people. And I also wanted something that's really fun, that could be made as a class and then gifted to people within the family or somebody that's close to you that would appreciate that. And one of my dear friends, Grace Hill, has a tea shop in New York, and I spent lots of time around teacups and playing around with her. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a little teacup fairy house. And then I turned that into a class, and then
that would be a great class. Something you can finish in a couple hours. Take home. It's not too big, and almost seems a little bit forgiving. That you can try some different things in it, and if you're a beginner, you can still make something really cute.
Absolutely. And there's 2 different versions of that. So I can do either ground up, where we're working with foil and the clay from scratch, start to finish. Or I do my mold work again, and I can have a pre-made house for you that we then assemble and hand paint to finish it off. So it's less stress for some people that are a little more intimidated by the full procedure. And it's easy to do, and it's a lot of fun. We get lots of laughs. And then as if that wasn't complicated enough, one of my biggest loves is quantum science and metaphysics. I've been studying both of those for the last 20 years also. So for my classes, I don't want people to just make pretty things. I want to empower them with their thoughts and teach them how to utilize a lot of these concepts in their work and in their life that will translate to a higher elevation for them and for those in their family. So that's part of what I integrate into my classes.
Well, just beautiful. And I'm like totally impressed with your range
Thank you.
of amazing artwork.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
The why of Village Artist Market is art with heart and intention that nurtures a thriving community of artists and art lovers in a warm, welcoming environment. We'd say, job well done.
Since Helene, Asheville is filled with impactful stories like Naomi's, and we're on the hunt to bring you more of them. Next time, don't go away.